Happy Monday. It is now 9:16. I've been up since like 7:30, 7 o'clock, I think. I'm just now leaving the house. I have so much work to do. And it's mainly for my creative pursuits. So that is what I'm focusing on today. Before we head out, I'm gonna go to a coffee shop for a few hours, and then I have a dentist appointment in the middle of the day. So my goal for like this first half of the day is to start a book, journal. I want to write more, and I have to analyze a poem and a play for something. The book I'm going to be starting is, let me say it like this, Small Worlds by Caleb Azuma Nelson. I'm reading this for the Well Read Society book club, and I'm co-hosting the discussion. But it's a really short book, and I feel like I can finish it very quickly, and I am very excited for this. Not Small Worlds, Open Water by this author is one of my favorite reads of all time. So this is what I'm gonna read. But yeah, let's be out because your girl's hungry. Guys, what's up? I am back from a lot of things. I'm back from the coffee shop. I'm back from the dentist. I have a cavity, so I have to get that filled at the end of the month. I'm looking crazy. I ordered Chipotle. I was craving Chipotle after the dentist. I don't know, I just started writing, so I wanted to like update you guys because I don't think I've spoke to you about it yet, but very exciting news. So I was offered the opportunity to write a blog post for the Poetry Society of New York's How to Poet blog. So I wrote that piece on spring and poetry and how poetry helps us emerge from ourselves. You can check that out. The link is down below. But just going through that whole process of just writing something that was on poetry but was not a poem was very refreshing for my brain, and I feel like it kind of reset me, and it made me appreciate more long form writing, even though my post was like 350 words, just writing in a prose format. So I have been toying with the idea of starting either a monthly or bi-weekly newsletter where I just kind of share what I have been thinking in terms of poetry, my recent reads. I do journal a lot of my thoughts on writing and just on how I'm viewing the world at a particular moment. So I think it would be a good exercise because I have really been meaning to practice writing. Sophie talked about this in her vlog, and I left a comment, and I was like, yeah, my writing practice is tragic right now, and I think I need something to hold me accountable. So I'm really toying with the idea of doing, once again, either a monthly or bi-weekly newsletter. And in terms of Small Worlds, I really didn't get much reading done at all today. I'm on page 4, but I just thought that this first few opening sentences were amazing, like opening passages, awesome. And Caleb Azuma Nelson is a poet, okay? I don't care what no one says. This man is a poet. It is beautiful. It's just everything that I loved about Open Water is still present in this book so far. And that was mainly the writing and just kind of how he shows connection. And there's this like beautiful scene. Like, I'm not going to read you the whole thing, but I just kind of want to share this with you. Since the one thing that can solve most of our problems is dancing, it only makes sense that here, following the shimmer of black hands raised in praise, the pastor invited us, the congregation, to pray. and we allowed that prayer to make space, allowed ourselves to explore the depths and heights of our beings, allowed ourselves to say things which were honest and true, godlike even, allowed ourselves to speak to someone who is both us and the people we want to be, allowed ourselves to speak quietly, which is a call to give up the need to be sure and ask, when was the last time we surrendered? When was the last time we were this open? And before we could try to answer, the drums start off, sudden and sure. A thick bass line follows, getting to the heart of things. The pianist plays secret chords from the soul. And before the intro is done, the choir magic themselves to the stage, and there's a microphone in hand and a grin as the leader steps down, singing her prayer. Like, stop. This is so good so far. I am so excited to discuss with everyone in the Well Read Society book club, but I just kind of want to share that once again. I'm only on page 4. Happy Thursday. So I am slowly making my way through Small Worlds, but we are following Steven. It's the summer. He just graduated high school. We're kind of getting a sneak peek or a look into his life. He is a musician and he wants to study music in college. He also is in love with one of his childhood friends, Dell, and we see their relationship like blossoming, but under the uncertainty of where they will both end up in the fall. Since they're both applying to colleges, they both apply to the same college, and so we're kind of waiting to see what happens with that. But it's kind of like a very natural relationship that they have. They're very much in love, like the chemistry is there, but it's also a look as well into being an immigrant, like the child of an immigrant. Steven's family is from Ghana. They're now living in England, in London, and so kind of like grappling with his goals of being a musician, and then kind of like that more traditional ideal that you need to do something that's like practical. So he's also struggling with that, and we actually see where he ends up going to college, and we kind of see how his relationship to himself, to music, and then also to Dell and like his other childhood friends is impacted by all of this. This is very nostalgic in the way that I have felt pretty much everything that Steven has felt in this, especially with kind of the scariness or that like feeling of openness of the world and like what your identity will be like outside of your hometown. So I am relating to that. The writing is stunning, like the same type of writing that I loved about Open Water. A lot of references to music in here, of course. And Caleb Azuma Nelson is truly great at like introducing a metaphor and then tying it back together nicely towards the end of the paragraph or towards the end of the chapter. The chapters are super quick, so I feel like I'm zooming by it. This is also not written in second person the way that Open Water was, or is. This is written in third person, pretty sure. Yeah, it's like a third person omniscient narrator, but we're mostly following Steven, right? Or am I tripping? Oh my god, I'm lying. It's written in first person. Totally lied. I don't know where I got third person from. I also never showed you guys the poetry books that I got from Barnes & Noble. I don't really have much to say. It's always hard for me to talk about poetry books before I've actually read them. I Done Clicked My Heels 3 Times by Taylor Bias. This is so interesting to me. It's like a Wizard of Oz retelling. There is an amazing poet. I've been following her for a few years on Twitter, so I I've read a few of her like standalone poems outside of collections, but I'm really excited to have this in my hands. So I got this. I blacked out in Barnes & Noble. I also got Root Fractures, which is a very kind of buzzy poetry collection. I also saw Ocean Vuong post this on his Instagram stories. I was like, okay, let me tap in for real. And then the two collections that felt the most me when I was browsing is Ephemera. This collection on the back, it says, reads like a warm hand on the heart, reminding us of both the fragility of life, and the immeasurable blessings it offers when we take time to truly witness it. And like, can we have a moment for this cover? It's so pretty. I'm obsessed. I'm really excited for this one. And then I also have Organs of Little Importance. This is another like me-coded poetry collection. I love the body as a metaphor, and it says a debut poetry collection about psychology, love, and memory, vestigial things lately in my own writing. I love the body as a metaphor, so I'm excited to read this. And then last but not least, I literally gasped when I saw this. This is Astra, and this is a literary magazine that went out of business, or that is now out of print. I don't know if you guys can see the names of the people, but like banger contributors. We have Faro Farakazad, Ada Limon, Catherine Lacey, Otessa Moshbeg, Sayaka Murata, Salma Sharif, and more. Those are just the names that I recognize. Oh, and Mieko Kawakami. So I'm excited to read these as well. I haven't bought any poetry this year, like really. So decided to treat myself because I have novels, I have fiction, I have nonfiction. But my poetry collection was a little lacking, I think. It's Thursday. I'm gonna keep reading Open Water. I really had hoped to finish it by this point in time. Anyways, I'm going to a poetry event in my local bookstore tomorrow. I'm so excited. I'm gonna vlog that. And yeah, I'm probably just gonna be chilling for the rest of the night, so I'll give an update whenever I read more of Open Water. Secured the goods, aka coffee. I'm going to the poetry event, so I'm excited about that. Hi, good morning. So it has been several days since I vlogged. The last time you saw me, I went to a poetry event, an open mic at a bookstore, in my local bookstore. And I believe I also updated you on where I was in Small Worlds. I have since then read so much more, but I did not finish the book yet. So here's the deal. I'll just give you kind of a summary of my thoughts thus far in this novel, and then you would just have to follow me and Well-Read Society so you can see my overall thoughts of the book as well as what I think about the ending. So with that, I believe I was about at that 100-page mark. So I'm going to be honest, I had a bit of a hard time getting through the middle of this book. Open Water was one of my favorite books, but it was much shorter than this book. I think what this book suffers from slightly is a bit of disjointedness in the sense of the narration. There isn't really a plot. It's just more so a series of events that are shaping Stephen, our main character's young adulthoodness, and drifts in family, drifts within oneself and your identity, and kind of like carrying over your childhood dreams into adulthood, and what that struggle is like, being uncertain within yourself. Also first loves, first relationships. It's tackling all of these things with